So I just traded in my Ford Lightning for this F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why I decided to ditch my Ford Lightning after 1 year of ownership and some important things that you should think about as well. If you've been following any of the EV news lately, and especially with Ford, it's no surprise that Ford has dramatically cut the production of the Ford Lightning. In fact, they've cut it by over 50% for 2024. This was the first piece of information that was a little alarming for me as a Ford Lightning owner and early adopter of the truck. If Ford is not producing nearly as many Ford Lightnings, what does that mean for current Ford Lightning owners? I was really concerned about the value of the truck. So I took almost a $10,000 haircut on the Ford Lightning after 1 year of ownership. That's a little steep. That's more depreciation than you would get from a normal gas-powered F-150. But I feel that I got out before that would have been even worse. So like I said, the dealership gave me $45,000 trade-in allowance for my Ford Lightning. It was exactly 1 year old. It had about 14,000 miles on it. Here's the crazy thing. I checked. It's now on their website, and they're selling it for $46,900. So they're only making $1,900 on the truck. Again, that just shows that Ford is struggling to sell Ford Lightnings, and there just isn't a demand for them anymore. I did not want to hold on to that truck another year, and maybe that $45,000 would have been worth $30,000 or even less. When I got my Ford Lightning, it came with a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty, and the battery had an 8-year warranty. And my initial plan was to never keep it past the 3 years or 36,000 miles due to the expensive cost of repairing EVs. Last video I did about my Ford Lightning, I'll put a link to it here, was about the battery failure. After I owned it for 11 months, one of the battery modules went bad. It was a painful experience to get it repaired, and the dealer told me it would have been around a $10,000 repair if it wasn't covered under warranty. And the other concern I had is that Ford is aware the first generation Lightnings have major battery issues, and my understanding, and after talking with a few of my local dealers here, is that Ford is working on new battery technology for future generations of the Lightning. So when one of those would come out, my current Lightning would have been worth absolutely nothing. So I decided I needed to dump this thing before the value fell even more. Don't get me wrong, the Ford Lightning was a really fun truck to drive. It was my first EV and my first experience owning an EV, and there was a lot of lessons to be learned during that 1 year of ownership. One of the biggest issues I had with the Ford Lightning was the range. I had the standard range battery, which was rated at 230 miles on 100% charge. It did not get 230 miles. Oftentimes you would only charge it to 80 or 90%. There's always a decrease due to weather and a significant decrease when it was cold weather. So I told people it averaged, 175, 180 miles. Another issue I had is that with my location here in the Midwest, there are very few public chargers, and the build out of that charging infrastructure is going much slower than I think early EV owners thought or hoped it would be. I never felt comfortable taking my Lightning on a road trip. They just didn't have the charges there, and if something went wrong, I'd be stuck. Definitely didn't want to do that with my family or with my kids in the truck. So it was a around town vehicle, which was fine, but ideally I wanted something that I could drive out of town, I could take on a road trip. If there was some kind of an emergency, I wouldn't have to worry about charging my vehicle. Another reason why I decided to trade in for the hybrid. So after owning a Ford Lightning for 1 year, I would say that it is a good vehicle if you are purely going to drive it around town, or maybe you live in a major metropolitan area that has a large EV charging network already in place, then you're probably fine. So far, I've owned the Power Boost Hybrid for about a month now, and this is a great truck. It's the exact same color as my Lightning, the Avalanche, which I really liked. This one has the blackout package. I'll do another video to show some details about that. You do get the added benefit of better mileage per gallon, One full tank of gas, I'm usually getting about 600 miles of range. It's a great in-between vehicle. You still have the benefit of the battery. There's an onboard generator, which is great, but yet you're able to fill it up with a tank of gas, drive 600 miles, and not have to worry about it. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you own a Ford Lightning? Do you own the Power Boost Hybrid? Share your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you.